flipping through the newspapers, switching through multiple news channels, exploring different websites and online mediums for relevant news? Keeping up to date with important news is not only time-consuming but also requires meticulous upkeep of notes for thorough revision. With a limited period in hand and abundant resources to study from, do not let current affairs come in the way of your prelims success. Join the PT 365 program by Vision IAS and advance in your preparation for current affairs. Starting on 9th January at 5 p.m., this 20-day course offers comprehensive coverage of 1 year of current affairs in 60 hours. Join for improved knowledge with complete coverage of The Hindu, Indian Express, PIB, Economic Times, Yojana, Economic Survey, etc. Doubt-clearing sessions and mentoring for thorough knowledge. Access to Sandhan personalized test with 25,000 plus questions. Access to live and online classes for flexibility in timing. It's time to devote your energy to smart learning and not running. Enroll today and excel in UPSC prelims with a strong command of current affairs.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. India becomes fourth country to achieve space docking. Union Cabinet approved the establishment of third launchpad project. RBI announces steps to boost cross-border transactions in rupee. RBI releases list of non-banking financial company in the upper layer for 2024-25. Election Commission of India issues advisory regarding use of artificial intelligence content. Role of digital public infrastructure for children explored by UNICEF report. In our first news for the day, India has become the fourth country in the world to achieve space docking, joining the ranks of the United States, Russia and China. This milestone was achieved through the Space Docking Experiment or SpaDeX mission, where two small spacecraft, STX-01 Chaser and STX-02 Target, successfully docked in space. Space docking, which involves the precise joining of two fast-moving satellites, is a critical technology for advanced space exploration. Let's take a closer look at the SpaDeX mission. Starting with its background, SpaDeX and 24 PS4 Orbital Experiment Module or POEM-4 payloads were launched by ISRO via PSLV C-60 from the Sriharikota Space Center in December 2024. The primary goal of the mission is to develop and demonstrate technology for rendezvous and autonomous docking using two spacecraft, STX-01 and STX-02. Once docked, the mission will evaluate the controllability of the combined system, including maintaining stability and maneuvering the docked spacecraft as a single entity. Other objectives include demonstrating the potential for extending the life of the target spacecraft and testing power transfer between the docked spacecraft. The mission is expected to have a life of up to 2 years for post-docking operations. The mission employs several indigenous technologies, including an Inter-Satellite Communication Link or ISL for autonomous communication between spacecraft and a GNSS-based Novel Relative Orbit Determination and Propagation or RODP processor for determining the relative position and velocity of the spacecraft. Additional technologies such as a docking mechanism, sensor suite, and autonomous rendezvous and docking strategies were also developed in-house to enable this mission. The SpaDeX mission holds significant importance. It is essential for India's space ambitions such as sample return from the moon and the construction of the Bharatiya Antariksh Station or BAS. The ability to dock spacecraft also enables satellite servicing and maintenance, allowing for refueling and extending the operational life of satellites. Moreover, this capability supports future space missions where multiple rocket launches may be required to achieve common objectives. The mission's applications extend beyond space exploration, with potential uses in in-space robotics, natural resource monitoring, vegetation studies, and other critical areas. This achievement underscores India's growing expertise in space technology and its readiness to undertake more complex and ambitious space missions in the future. Moving on to the next news, the Union Cabinet has approved the establishment of the Third Launchpad or TLP project at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. This initiative is a major step forward in enhancing India's space exploration activities. Let's take a closer look at the TLP's features. Configured to support the launch of New Generation Launch Vehicles or NGLVs and Launch Vehicle Mark III or LVM-3, equipped with semi-cryogenic stages, the TLP will also facilitate both horizontal and tilted integration of NGLVs. By enabling higher launch frequencies, it is expected to significantly enhance India's capacity for future human spaceflight and space exploration missions. But which are the existing launch pads in India? Currently, ISRO relies on two launch pads at Sriharikota, the first launch pad or FLP and the second launch pad or SLP. The FLP was realized for the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle or PSLV and continues to launch support for PSLV and SSLV. SLP, originally established for the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle or GSLV and LVM-3, also functions as a standby for PSLV missions. Notably, the SLP has been used for significant missions such as Chandrayaan-3 and is set to launch the Gaganyaan missions. The choice of Sriharikota for the TLP is attributed to several strategic factors. Its location on the eastern coast allows for launches in an easterly direction, taking advantage of Earth's rotational velocity. Additionally, its proximity to the equator provides an additional push to launch vehicles due to the faster rotational speed from west to east near the equator, thereby increasing payload capacity and reducing operational cost. Furthermore, the region is free from major international maritime and airline routes crisscrossing testing, ensuring safer launch operations. The largely uninhabited area and proximity to the sea also ensure that the flight paths of launch vehicles are primarily over the sea, minimizing risks to human settlements. Complementing this development is the New Generation Launch Vehicles or NGLV program by ISRO. This initiative aims to develop a next-generation rocket, also known as the Surya rocket, for launching satellites, spacecraft, and other payloads. The NGLV will feature a three-stage vehicle with a reusable first stage, enabling low-cost access to space and modular green propulsion systems. The booster stages will use semi-cryogenic propulsion using refined kerosene as fuel and liquid oxygen or LOX as oxidizer. The NGLV is designed to offer 3 times the current payload capacity at 1.5 times the cost of LVM-3. Together, the third launch pad project and the NGLV program represent a transformative leap in India's space capabilities, positioning the country as a leader in space exploration and fostering greater self-reliance in this critical domain. Moving on, the Reserve Bank of India has announced several measures to promote cross-border transactions in Indian rupee as part of its efforts to internationalize the rupee. This follows a review of existing regulations issued under the Foreign Exchange Management Act or FEMA 1999. Let's take a closer look at the recent changes made in FEMA regulations by RBI. People residing outside of India will be able to open INR accounts in overseas branches of authorized dealer banks for settling all permissible current and capital account transactions with a person resident in India. They will also be allowed to settle transactions with other persons resident outside India using balances in their repatriable INR accounts such as SNRR account and SVRAs. Additionally, they can use their balance held in repatriable INR accounts for foreign investment. Indian exporters, meanwhile, have been permitted to open accounts in foreign currencies overseas to settle trade transactions, including receiving export proceeds and using these proceeds to pay for imports. But what is the internationalization of the rupee? This process involves increasing rupee's use in cross-border transactions, beginning with trade, imports and exports, and other current account transactions, and later extending to capital account transactions. This initiative offers several benefits, including greater financial independence, protection from external shock, and enhanced efficiency in cross-border trade. It also reduces the demand for dollars and strengthens the rupee, lowering the need for foreign reserves to cope with external shocks. Key instruments in this process include Special Vostro Rupee accounts or SVRAs and Special Non-Resident Rupee or SNRR accounts. SVRAs are rupee accounts that domestic banks maintain for foreign banks in Indian rupee. SVRA helps keep the foreign entities holding in the Indian bank in the Indian rupee. And when an Indian importer wants to make a payment to a foreign trader in rupees, the amount will be credited to this Vostro account and vice versa. SNRR accounts, on the other hand, are current accounts opened by non-residents, individuals or corporates with business interests in India. These accounts can now be used for specified transactions, including trade, foreign investments, and external commercial borrowings. These measures reflect the RBI's commitment to bolstering the rupee's global stature and fostering a robust and efficient mechanism for international trade and investment. The Reserve Bank of India has released the list of non-banking financial companies or NBFCs classified under the upper layer or NBFC UL for 2024-25. This list includes entities such as LIC Housing Finance Limited, PNB Housing Finance Limited, and Shriram Finance Limited, identified in line with the Scale-Based Regulation or SPR framework for NBFCs. NBFCs categorized as NBFC UL are subject to enhanced regulatory requirements for a minimum period of 5 years. The SPR framework aims to mitigate systemic or contagion risks, apply the principle of proportionality in regulation, and strengthen the quality and risk management practices of NBFCs. Non-banking financial companies or NBFCs are registered under the Companies Act 1956 and primarily engage in lending activities, but excludes institutions mainly involved in agriculture, industrial activity, trading goods, except securities, and providing any services and sale or purchase or construction of immovable property. However, they differ from banks in several key aspects. NBFCs cannot accept demand deposits. Only term deposits are permitted, and they are not part of the payment and settlement system and cannot issue checks drawn on themselves. Additionally, deposit insurance facility is not available to NBFC depositors. The Scale-Based Regulation or SPR framework for NBFCs categorizes them into 4 layers: base layer, middle layer, upper layer, and top layer. The base layer includes NBFCs that are non-deposit taking or NBFC ND with an asset size below 1,000 crore rupees. The middle layer comprises NBFCs with an asset size of 1,000 crore rupees and above, as well as deposit-taking NBFCs irrespective of size. The upper layer consists of NBFCs identified by the RBI based on parameters and scoring methodology. It includes the top 10 eligible NBFCs in terms of asset size, regardless of other factors. Finally, the top layer is ideally kept empty but may include NBFCs if the RBI identifies a substantial increase in systemic risk from specific NBFCs in the upper layer. In conclusion, the classification of NBFCs under the upper layer underscores the RBI's commitment to safeguarding financial stability and ensuring that entities with significant systemic importance operate under stringent oversight. Moving ahead, the Election Commission of India or ECI has issued an advisory regarding the use of artificial intelligence or AI-generated content in elections, with the objective of ensuring transparency, accountability, and informed decision-making by voters. The advisories issued are expected to inform electors of dissemination of AI-generated or synthetic content by political parties. Advisories include labeling AI or synthetically generated content. Clearly label any image, video, audio, or other materials generated or significantly altered by AI technologies. Second, disclosure in campaign materials by including disclaimers whenever synthetic content is utilized. In a parallel development, the Delhi police has taken proactive measures by appointing a nodal officer to monitor social media platforms for potential misuse of AI during the Delhi Assembly elections. The role of AI in elections is multifaceted, offering both significant benefits and concerning risks. On the positive side, AI-powered tools such as chatbots can enhance voter and civic engagement by providing personalized and interactive citizen communication. AI also bolsters electoral security by identifying anomalies and detecting fraudulent activities, thereby fortifying cybersecurity. Moreover, AI's capacity for data analysis and predictive modeling allows political parties to strategically allocate resources and optimize fundraising efforts. The use of AI for voter profiling and micro-targeting further enhances outreach by enabling real-time adaptability, precision in targeting and messaging, and improved efficiency in connecting with the electorate. However, alongside these benefits, the potential misuse of AI introduces serious negative consequences. AI-generated deepfakes, which create highly realistic but false audio or video content, can mislead voters and undermine the electoral process. Algorithmic biases stemming from skewed or incomplete training data can lead to discriminatory campaign practices and reinforce existing social inequalities. The manipulation of electoral behavior through manipulating AI algorithms to favor specific candidates or parties poses another significant threat to democratic fairness. Additionally, this dependency on technology and over-reliance on AI tools can raise privacy concerns and expose campaigns to vulnerabilities such as technical glitches, cyber attacks, or system failures. To mitigate these risks, several steps are necessary. First, it is crucial to assess and research the impact of AI on social media, particularly its influence on freedom of speech and electoral outcomes. Platforms must be held accountable for transparency and required to independently verify claims made under their obligations. Developing regulated algorithmic filters to detect and eliminate harmful content is essential for maintaining accountability. Lastly, the establishment of global AI standards is imperative to safeguard democratic systems and processes from the adverse consequences of AI misuse. Moving on, the role of digital public infrastructure or DPI for children has been explored by UNICEF's report titled Global Outlook 2025 Prospects for Children. But what is meant by DPI? DPI refers to a set of shared digital systems that ensure equitable access to public and private services on a societal scale, integrating technology, markets, and governance. Let's take a closer look at the role of DPI in children's well-being. DPI plays a vital role in ensuring equitable access to essential services. For instance, digital IDs connected to civil registration systems provide lifelong access to services. In education, platforms like India's Diksha bridge educational gaps, and when it comes to health, it helps facilitate electronic health records. For example, tools like Jamaica's electronic immunization registry enhance vaccination rates. Furthermore, DPI fosters financial literacy and inclusion, allowing children to engage in the digital economy, and it strengthens social protection systems through targeted benefit delivery and improved data sharing for better child services. However, challenges persist. Poor connectivity and digital inequality remain significant barriers, with only 43.6% of Indian rural youth aged 15 to 24 years able to send mails. Additionally, inadequate integration of civil registration and vital statistics or CRVS systems into national IDs restricts universal coverage. Other issues include lack of data interoperability, data protection concerns, and security and surveillance risks. The report recommends digitizing CRVS systems to form the basis for digital IDs, enabling seamless and secure data exchange across health, education, and social services. It also emphasizes empowering children, youth, and families through digital financial inclusion and literacy, while ensuring children's input is incorporated into the design of digital infrastructure affecting them. In today's Place in News, we turn our attention to Cabo Verde with its capital, Praia. The World Bank's Country Climate and Development Report highlights that Cabo Verde requires an annual investment of $140 million to effectively tackle its climate and development challenges. Let's take a closer look at the political and geographical features. Cabo Verde is located off the West African coast in the Atlantic Ocean and is divided into two groups: the Barlavento Windward Group in the north and the Sotavento Leeward Group in the south, with its largest port, Mindelo, situated on the island of São Vicente. Geographically, Cabo Verde is a small archipelago of volcanic origin. The terrain varies between geographically older, flatter islands in the east and newer, more mountainous islands in the west. The archipelago experiences a hot climate year-round with minimal rainfall and refreshing sea breezes from the Atlantic Ocean. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. Supreme Court recently ruled that proceedings on restitution of conjugal rights and those on maintenance are entirely independent of each other. Conjugal rights are rights created by marriage, that is the right to live together, right of the husband or the wife to the society of the other spouse. Recently, Home Minister launched fast-track immigration trusted traveller program at 7 major airports across India. These include Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Kochi and Ahmedabad. It is a part of the government's Viksit Bharat at 2047 vision. The report released by the World Economic Forum classified global risks across economic, environmental, geopolitical, and technological domains. These risks are assessed over both short-term and long-term horizons to guide policymakers in balancing immediate concerns with future challenges. The Union government approved the establishment of the 8th Pay Commission. Since 1947, 7 pay commissions have been constituted. The 7th Pay Commission was implemented in 2016 and is set to complete its term in 2026. Chairman of the 7th Pay Commission was Justice Ashok Kumar Mathur. Musi River historic buildings have been kept on World Monuments Watch 2025. World Monuments Watch is a biennial program which aims to raise awareness and mobilize action for the preservation of cultural heritage worldwide. Recently, the Karnataka Cabinet Subcommittee has given approval to declare 4 forest areas as eco-sensitive zones. It includes Bhadra Wildlife Sanctuary, Bankapura Wolf Sanctuary, Uttaraguda Wildlife Sanctuary, and Arsikere Bear Sanctuary. A high-level review meeting to be held by Tamil Nadu Chief Secretary amid increase in deaths of olive ridley turtles. This turtle gets its name from olive green color of its heart-shaped shell and is found primarily in the tropical regions of Pacific, Indian and Atlantic Oceans. Blue Origin's giant New Glenn rocket blasted off from Florida on its first mission NG-1 to space. Blue Origin is a private company founded by Jeff Bezos in 2000. The mission aimed to place the Blue Ring Pathfinder test satellite into orbit and land rocket's booster onto a drone ship in Atlantic Ocean. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description.